Hey, good afternoon traders. Hope you've had a successful trading day and a successful trading week. So we've got a lot to talk about today. We'll just jump right into it. The point of this vlog is really focused around US and China tensions once again rising. And this is based around two core main themes. Number one is the Uighurs Human Rights Act that Trump has passed through. And number two is the phase one of the US and China trade deal that was agreed upon all the way back in January. So in terms of then the theme number one, which is the Uighurs Human Rights Bill, what's that all about? Well, it's common knowledge that China have been holding Muslims of different ethnic minorities in these camps, detention camps based in Western Xinjiang. And obviously that's really bad. As you can imagine, these Muslims have been subjected to harsh working conditions. They've been forced against their will to work. They've been stripped upon their kind of basic rights, their food and water. And it's really disgusting behavior from China. Now, month after month, China representatives had dismissed this as purely rumors, purely a bunch of nonsense, but we actually had quite a lot of whistleblowers and a lot of evidence resurfacing towards the end of last year showing that indeed this camp does actually exist, that this is what China was doing. And actually I was reading this interesting story about 6-7 months ago where there was actually someone in the UK who went to Sainsbury's and they purchased a birthday card, and within that birthday card was actually a plea, a written plea from a Muslim actually in one of those camps. So very much real. Now this is actually really positive for Trump, and the reason being is because no one's done this before, which is shocking. No country, no president, no trade group, no trade association has actually faced up to China and said what you're doing is wrong and it needs to stop. So hats off for Trump for doing that, and it sends a real clear message here, and that is this is not okay. You cannot subject Muslims to harsh working conditions, you can't strip them off of their human rights, and you certainly cannot subject them to torture. It's completely unnecessary. Now China have responded very swiftly, directly threatening the US and saying that, well, if you don't revoke this, in plain terms, we're going to threaten you and you're going to have to deal with the consequences of that. So obviously China are not very happy, but this is likely due to the fact that no one stood up to them before, and now you're having another giant powerhouse, i.e. the US, standing up to them and telling them that it's wrong. And China's now been put out there for the world to see their true colors. So certainly, again, hats off to Trump for doing this. Now, the second theme is based around phase one of the US and China trade deal. That was agreed upon all the way in January. Check the blog down below to look at the sort of summary around that deal. But one of the key takeaways was that China committed to buying an additional $200 billion worth of US goods over a 2-year period. Now, it's emerged today that China's not really been following that at all, and that what they need to do is accelerate their purchases in order to abide by that $200 billion sort of agreement there. Now, China haven't yet responded, but I'd imagine their response is going to be something along the lines of, we simply don't have the capacity to buy or stick to that agreement during this current period, because obviously consumption and consumer behavior has been hit pretty hard as a result of the coronavirus. But Trump is likely to kind of push the fact that, we made this agreement, you have to stick to it. So, could there be a potential massive falling out here? Rightly so. And what does that mean for you guys and as individuals? Well, obviously massive risk here. Risk assets are not going to be doing too well. So there's definitely a lid in terms of how far risk assets can go. Safe havens, gold, like gold, are likely to see a bid up. And we might even see commodities like oil begin to suffer as well, because oil is very sensitive to risk. So do bear that in mind when you're trading. Obviously very important, and follow this story with us quite closely. We'll keep you updated.